Hi, Original Soul. Welcome in to this reading. Thank you for showing up and bringing your energy here. We'll jump into the oracle cards that I got out and then add some tarot to it in a moment. I'll also get an angel and a spirit animal as well. So, all right, let's jump into it here, shall we? Up at the top of the reading, number 3, Mercury Mind. So I like it when I see the mind in the mind position. So something going on in your head, possibly a little bit of overthinking, but just getting the feeling that there's something that you want to express or share. And this could be something creative. It could be, poetry, art, something that you've been writing, or again, just something that you have been putting a lot of time thinking about and possibly ruminating on. Coming into this reading out of the dream deck, this disaster card. Right? So there's a lot of stuff going on in the image of this card. And I know, around the world, there have been a lot of, different natural disasters and fires and floods and volcanic activity and all sorts of things going on, which, some of that has been heartbreaking. But kind of zooming this into your own personal life and world, right? Has there been something that maybe feels like it was a disaster, it didn't go the way you wanted, or just some sort of chaos has kind of broken loose? And there is just a situation that you feel like is just a complete disaster, basically. And that potentially has maybe lit a fire under your ass or in your heart space. At the center of the reading, at the heart of the reading, we've got tap your resources, burdock, right? So you can see that kettle on top of those flames, right? Something's brewing, something's kind of cooking or incubating or cultivating there. We've got white candles around. And then again, this is out of the herb deck. So this is burdock, which does get those kind of thistle and prickly things. They kind of get stuck to you. So again, there might be something a little prickly going on, or maybe a situation that you've been a little bit stuck in and have had a hard time kind of pulling away from. We've also got sweat lodge out, kind of moving towards the future. This is womb mother energy, but this also is, with sweat lodge, obviously that's a heated, hot place. So we do have just that fire, possibly passion energy. But with the sweat lodge, this is willing to take a look at your own shadows, doing shadow work, willing to kind of go through that challenge of addressing, maybe your part in whatever this disaster might be, or in the past, if you have been sort of, a train wreck, or just have made a lot of choices that has created turmoil and chaos in your life, right? Sweat lodge is being willing to take a look at it, right? Which isn't always an easy energy to be in, but once you do that, right, it allows things to come up to the surface, to actually be examined, addressed, and then you can move on and heal from that. So sort of this kind of purifying energy, kind of through the fire, so to speak. And then at the base of the reading, we've got ovaries, number 47. All right, so that is, life force, creativity. Again, like I said, maybe something's a brewing. You might have an idea. It doesn't necessarily have to be a project, but maybe you do have some sort of passion project, or sort of work of art. Again, whether that's painting or something with lyrics, poetry, different things like that, that you've really been thinking on and that you've been, working on. I feel like with these two B's here, And this is coming to mind right now for anyone, there also could, be having a baby, or I'm getting twin energy, both out of this ovaries card and with the Mercury card. So maybe that's for somebody out there. Maybe you have a twin or you're having twins. But yeah, some sort of creativity, a spark, an idea definitely seems to be a big theme in this reading. All right, so we'll add in a spirit animal card. Gosh, fumbling around here, really kind of messy and a little bit difficult. And maybe that's an energy that you've been in, whether that's your internal environment or interactions with others. All right, so let's see what spirit animal wants to help us out this week. Oh, we've got 2 that volunteered right away. All right, we've got butterfly and raccoon. So metamorphosis and letting go. These feel, like I said, kind of that go along with the sweat lodge energy of sort of putting yourself through that heat, putting some of your past experiences or your choices kind of under the microscope. So you can move on from that, move forward, and, change, have things be different. So raccoon, letting go. This message has to do with those things to which you cling. And thinking about burdock, like I said, how that gets stuck to you, those little stickers, sort of that thistle. All right, so maybe something's been clinging to you, or you've sort of been clinging to something else. Be it a thought form, a habit, a creed, or a situation, the time has come from letting go. Something is halting your progress, and you are spinning your wheels. Once you embrace change, blessings will flow. So that's the message from raccoon. And then butterfly, metamorphosis. Right? Once you're able to do that and embrace that change, blessings will flow, right? And you will change. So let's see what it says on this card. Pay attention to the areas in your life or personality that are in need of profound change or transformation. You are about to enter a phase of expansion and growth, which will be highly beneficial for your future. All right. Like I said, something is shifting. Again, this could be with your mindset. This could be with a specific situation. But with burdock here at the heart of the reading, right, that fire is now lit. Maybe that has been kind of out or just burning really low in the past. So it seems like this is something that you're ready for, even though it may not be easy. All right, we'll get an angel with it here. And then we'll get to some tarot. There could be something that you need to leave behind. Something that just hasn't been good for you. Something that has been toxic, holding you back, holding you down, keeping you stuck, or having you feeling even unworthy, possibly blocking your creativity. There's a lot of yellows and greens in these cards, so your willpower, and your heart space may be attached to whatever this is. All right. Let's get an angel. 2 of Cups, Leuuiah. Number 19, the swiftly hearkening God. Fruition provides expansive intelligence and gives the grace of God. All right, and Mercury, the mind, the messenger. That's all about intellect, intelligence, communication. Maybe there is a communication that's sort of dropped, or a truth bomb sort of gets dropped. In the pre-shuffle with the deck, the Eight of Wands went flying down to the ground. And in the deck, the Witch Tarot that I'm going to be using, it's a tornado. It's really stormy. So again, a little bit more of that chaos, turmoil, disaster energy. But with the Two of Cups here with Leuuiah, right, this is about finding more unity and alignment. And maybe that is with your thoughts and your actions, or something like that. So if you haven't been really acting in a way that's true to you for whatever reason, right now is the best time to start so you can begin to get in alignment. All right, Archangel Michael message, and then we'll hop to the tarot. Message from Archangel Michael: believe and trust. My prayer. Before going to sleep tonight, say, Archangel Michael, please enter my dreams and replace fear with faith and trust. Let me be filled with strength, courage, and confidence. All right, so there is that beautiful image. Faith and trust. Right, faith, whatever this fire is that's building and burning, right, and eventually that's going to boil and bubble over if it's not tended to. But whatever that is, just believing and trusting in those nudges, in your intuition, and in yourself. Okay, let's go ahead and add in some tarot from this Witch Tarot deck. Get a few cards out with each of these here. See what additional messages or insight may pop up. All right, so we'll get a card or so out here with Mercury, the mind. We've got Thoth on this card, holding up the world. We're sort of levitating the world above his hand, and also holding a cup in his hand. So, you know, maybe you're working on manifesting something more heart-filled, or maybe there's something that you need to offer or put out there or say. All right, let's see here. Queen of Cups and Ace of Wands. Right, we've got a very pregnant-looking queen on this card, as I was mentioning. Right, for some of you, you may be pregnant, maybe even pregnant with twins. All right, but the Queen of Cups is, you know, in touch with her emotions. In this image, she has her eyes closed, and she does look like she's sort of presenting this shell with this water, almost like some sort of offering, like I just said with Thoth holding that cup there. Maybe there's something that you need to offer. This could be an idea, right? It could be whatever this creative thing might be that you have been working on or been thinking about. Maybe you've got just this idea that's sort of incubating, and you might be ready to come forth with that and share that. But yeah, this does look like some sort of offering. I'm also really honed in on the broom here, which it's kind of funny to see a broom on a beach with all that sand. Right, so there may be some amount of cleanup that's going with Sweat Lodge here. You may need to clean up your thoughts, clean up your actions, so you can move in this more authentic and grounded way. She's got her feet in the sand. She looks really content in this card. So, you know, maybe there is some sort of kind of dream or hope or wish that you have in your mind right now. So really checking in with your intuition, knowing that you can manifest. Right? We're doing it all the time. Sometimes we may be bringing in and magnetizing things that we're not really interested in. That's when it's a great time to take a look at what type of energy you're putting out there, or why, right, those things might be magnetized to you. Maybe there is some level of healing, and that shadow work is necessary. All right, and then with the Ace of Wands, yeah, she's got a book, sort of a feather pen. a paintbrush. So like I was talking about with creativity, right? This is feeling grounded enough to go after something new. So maybe you, again, I've said it a couple times now, have some sort of project or book or artwork or even a trip. There could be travel included in whatever you're doing as well. But it's time to kind of come to terms with what you want and then go after it. Right? Something that is going to fill you up and bring a little bit more balance and alignment into your energy. All right. Okay. I was going to say, let's get one or so with disaster here. Justice. All right. Maybe you've been in a situation that's been really unfair. For some of you, this could be a marriage or a partnership, or maybe even a business where you've got some sort of contract involved, right? So maybe you've been going through some sort of legal battle and there's been some fighting. Both of these cute little cats have their claws out. You're not seeing eye to eye with someone else, right? You're kind of on the exact opposite sides of the issue here. Get one more with that. Ace of Cups. And there's that one cup again. She's sort of looking down, coveting that cup. This could be something where you are trying to protect your heart space, trying to protect your emotions. We've got another cauldron here, sort of bubbling and brewing with something there, just like on the burdock card. Yeah, really working more towards fairness for your heart. And maybe there is some sort of new opportunity or, even a new person possibly. But maybe that didn't quite work out or didn't feel like the right time. Like maybe you've had too much chaos going on, or maybe you're in the middle of a legal situation and you've had to sort of put your heart on hold, and now, like I was saying, things are kind of overflowing, bubbling over, and that's something that's been sort of stuck on your mind. Okay. All right, there could have been some sadness, some disappointment. We've got this Two of Cups, which came out in the Angel card up here on the table. Right, so maybe when you can stop focusing on the turmoil, you may be able to see that there is something ready for you for alignment, for unity, maybe a different kind of partnership. All right, with burdock, tap your resources. What do we get here? Knight of Wands. And we've got that fiery dragon on top of the mountain there. Two of Wands, Four of Pentacles. Let's see here. With the Knight of Wands, this is moving forward and taking action. This could have something to do also with children, or maybe children are involved if this is a family situation. Mountains can represent challenges, and obviously when you've got a dragon breathing fire on top of that mountain, that makes that look even more challenging, right? But he's sort of ready to face that. He's got resources. Look at how his wand, right, has that little light lit up. So he might have something up his sleeve or a different idea. Right, so being creative with maybe how you face that fire, how you face that heat, how you face or tame this dragon, whatever that might be for you. The Two of Wands also came out here, and he's also holding a world in his hands, just like on the Mind card, right, where we've got Thoth with that globe. They're both looking in the same direction as well. Yeah, something, again, that fuels you and fires you, making choices that get you unstuck. right? You could be afraid to do that with the Four of Pentacles here. He's sort of sitting, protecting whatever is in this trunk. This could have something to do with your money or some of your resources, right? Maybe you feel like your resources have been tapped, especially if you've been through or are going through a legal battle, right? Going through the legal system and lawyers and cases and different things like that is usually not easy on the piggy bank. All right, so there could be a little bit of fear there of, you know, moving in a new direction or doing something that might feel like a risk. Maybe you've been just like saving and again, trying to just be more stable. All right, so tapping your resources, though, what could you do? Especially if you have been through this tumultuous, chaotic energy, to get more grounded, to get more stable, and really be sort of in that earth grounded energy as you move forward, right? To face the fire, to face the heat. All right, let's see here with Sweat Lodge. I'm working to take out blame or shame, pointing fingers and things like that. And really just, you know, acknowledging, being more of the observer so you can learn and grow. All right, we've got Knight of Swords, King of Cups, and Five of Pentacles. All right, so Knight of Swords is charging forward, taking action. This could be in your communication, the way you speak, or like I said, this could be you doing shadow work and finally being willing to kind of take a good look at something. Maybe you journal about it. This could also be something that possibly, you know, maybe this has been a pattern that has been in your family or just in your life for a really long time. And you're ready to deal with it and move forward head on, right? The Knight of Swords doesn't have a lot of fear. He moves pretty quick. Sometimes doesn't always think about what he's doing first. But yeah, I'm really getting that take charge energy. All right, and then we've got King of Cups. Right, so that is a match with the Queen of Cups we had up in the mind. The King of Cups, you know, he's also grounded in his feelings. His eyes are open. So again, like I was just saying about being the observer, right? He's holding this beautiful chalice, this beautiful cup. And he's gone through that shadow work too and kind of come to terms with, feels settled with how he's feeling, his experiences, his emotions. And how he's holding that telescope, so being willing to look at some of those things that might make you uncomfortable. And then with the Five of Pentacles, like I said, taking out blame or shame. This can be unworthiness, or, you know, maybe you realize you do need to leave something behind. I think I said that earlier. You know, so you may need to leave someone else out in the cold, and that could be something that you've had some guilt around or feel like you're responsible for somebody else. But this is getting over that unworthiness. This is getting over that fear of not being good enough. Right? A lot of us do things and act in a certain way because we may not feel worthy or good enough, whether that's for love, for money, you know, something at your job. So this is taking a look at whatever those wounds might be or any trauma that you might have had around feelings of worth. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, it could definitely have to do with love. With the Two of Cups out, I just saw the Two of Cups at the bottom, and then we got the King and Queen of Cups as well. So a lot of heart energy, right? And what walls have you possibly built up to protect your heart space? Sometimes we don't even realize that we've done that, right? Maybe you've put your heart in this sort of iron shell. All right, let's get a card or so out here with ovaries. Yeah, Six of Swords. This can be moving on to something new, walking away from something that has come out a couple times throughout this reading. Again, maybe you're going towards a new partnership or a new venture. The full moon coming up, full moon in Pisces, could be a really pivotal or important time for you. That'll be, I don't know, roughly in about 2 weeks from when I'm recording this anyway. Yeah, but this is finally taking action that aligns with your thoughts. Swords are about your thoughts and communication and different things like that. Right, and so she's kind of packed all of those in her bag, kind of taking one last look back and then moving forward and moving onward. If you've got a project or some sort of creative endeavor that you've been pursuing, right? Maybe that's been a little bit secret or hidden, and that really hasn't been shared or communicated. Right? And then we also got out with that, the Death card. All right, look how there's 2 doors there behind him. One is sort of open a little bit, has some light coming through it. The other one looks totally closed. So like I said, you may be leaving one situation, going towards another. Yesterday I did a reading. Was it the Virgo season reading? Anyway, about cutting cords, and you can see how on this rope, it's almost ready to split totally apart. Right, and all he has to do is kind of swipe that sword to really get that to untether and unhook. So, maybe you are with burdock as well, kind of stuck to something, or something is clinging to you, and it might be time to release and let that go and cut those cords. All right, we'll get one more out here with letting go and metamorphosis. Death is all about transformation. When one thing ends, that allows something new to begin. Yeah, Page of Swords. He looks ready to go, ready to take charge. And there's a few books and another white feather pen. So maybe you use some sort of fancy like calligraphy or a feather pen, or maybe you see white feathers as a sign and a synchronicity. But this is moving past, the hurt and focusing on sadness or what you don't have or what's not working out, and being ready to move on to something new. This is something new that's going to light up your intellect and your mind. And then with all this heart energy too, right, making choices that really align with your heart space and allow you, right, to follow your passions, go for what you want, enhance your creativity, but also to make it so you don't keep pushing things down, so things do like get too hot and start to boil over. And that's where rage can come out. I mean, both the Knight of Swords and Page of Swords, could be about being angry. And sometimes anger can fuel you, right, to move in a different direction. Like I said earlier, there could just be like a fire lit in your heart or under your ass to get unstuck and move in a different direction. All right, let's see here. So let's come up with an affirmation. This feels like an intense reading, some intense energy. Again, where I feel like you've been either holding something back or feel like you've been held back, or like you haven't been able to either follow your dreams or make the choices that you've wanted for whatever reason that may be. All right, so let me get a look at these for a minute. Let's see here. We've got a lot of creative and intellectual energy coming out. We also have a lot of kind of needing to push through obstacles. All right, I think today let's go with burdock. Tap your resources. So how about this for an affirmation? I am resourceful. What do you think about that one? You are resourceful. All right, you've had a lot of life experience up to this point, and you have a lot of skills, and all of us are creative in a variety of ways. All right, so how can you tap into some of your creativity and some of your resources maybe in a different way? Right? How can you use your experience and the different things that you have at your disposal to move through challenge, to face some of your fears, right? To work through whatever might be holding you back and preventing you from actually finding, right, that change or letting go or transforming and finding yourself through this metamorphosis? Right? What can you do to pursue your passions? Get yourself out of any negative loops that you may have around feeling unworthy, right? Being willing, like I said, to maybe journal or do some of that shadow work to really see where are these stories coming from, right? And how can you rewrite that story? All right, so that is the affirmation that we've got here for the week. We are resourceful. I hope there was something here for you in this message. And until next time, peace.